I was a trust fund baby. My parents trusted me to fund myself. And I did. And you can too. Let's clear something up. You don't need to be rich to start building. Wealth isn't a VIP club. You don't need some kind of secret password. You just need a little bit of strategy. Let me show you. Okay, let's talk about money, darling. And money is like confidence. It's not about how much you have, it's about how you carry it. So let's weave a story together. And like most good stories, let's start with childhood. Let's start with family. Okay? And growing up, we're trained to think that money means power. I was trained to believe this, and I had to unlearn that because money is really an extension of how we love, how we respect, and how we value ourselves. My parents weren't passing down stock portfolios to me, but they gave me something even better. They gave me resilience. Money is not necessarily power. Money is an extension of our inner world. Money is an extension of how we love, how we respect ourselves, and how we value ourselves. If you do not love yourself, if you do not respect yourself, if you do not value yourself, honey, money is going to be an amplifier to that energy. And that's why looking at love in relationships, in relationship to money, is so important. I mean, come on, like, you ever been on a date and the energy that someone had just like screamed fake? It screamed broke. And it wasn't their wallets that was screaming that, it was their mindset. You could have a full bank account and still live in scarcity. You've probably seen it, and I've seen it too. That goes for love, and that goes for money. So let's look at this from more of a metaphysical angle. Money is energy. It flows where it's welcomed, where it's respected. It mirrors how we receive abundance in every area of our lives. And that's why the healing work that we do is so important. Before I started this video, I started and I had a bit of a coughing fit. I started to feel like, oh my gosh. And then I was just going to jump right in and start again because, that's how we do it. You just get your reps. You just keep going. Just push through. And then I paused for a second and I was like, wait, I'm literally choking. Like, let me breathe. And I was thinking about the very first line that I said. And in terms of going from broke to wholeness, from being broke to being wealthy, like, it can happen as instantaneously as that. Because it's deeper. It's deeper than just the numbers in your bank account. And it's deeper than the accounts receivable. It's about what you allow yourself to feel inside of your body. And that's the importance of our healing work. If you don't believe that you deserve wealth, then your subconscious will make sure that you just don't keep it. Healing your relationship with money is like healing your relationship with love and self-worth. I want to talk about something that is not something I've ever said out loud anywhere that I knew I was being documented. And it's because it's the story of one of my greatest heartbreaks. And I'm like okay with sharing it at this point, and trust me, you're not going to get the full details. I don't think I'll give that to anybody. I don't even want to give that to my own memory and my own self-consciousness. It's not worth it, is the point, sweetheart. But the point, like, I'm ready to go down my aisle. Okay, clearly. Like, I'm chilling. It's not like the heartbreak is relevant anymore. I'm just saying the Arizona heartbreak story is one that is for the books. So grab your I just have a picture of Taryn Delaney Smith and Tiffany Cherise just fake smoking any incense or anything. But so I want to say grab your cigarette, but I don't want to tell you to grab your cigarette because this isn't actually the 1920s, honey. It's 2025. We just pretend. We take our pixie sticks, doll. The point is, she's stalling. In the Arizona heartbreak story, okay, I once sat on the street in Arizona with 2 busted ass suitcases, heartbroken, feeling like I had lost everything, outside of Joe Polish's office with less than $60 to my name and no reservation, no plan, and no way to get home. And also, where was home? I didn't know. And trust me, sweetheart, you don't get to that kind of situation without already feeling like there's no place called home for a very long time. So, click, 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 my shoes, my little slippers, my ruby red slippers, my Karina Dorothy shoes were going clack, 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 but it was like I missed the flight because I didn't know where to go because there wasn't a place that I felt like was home inside of myself or in family or anything. And that's the importance of me sharing this story. It's levels of healing required, okay? So sitting on that curbside among homeless people in broad daylight in downtown Phoenix, after having a night that was horrible and 2 days spent for the first time in my room full of millionaires. I had never been in a space just like full of millionaires, billionaires, at minimum 6-7 figure earners and business people. Like, I didn't know what that was like previously, but I was there for educational purposes. I was one of them, and I was listening and learning just like they were, right? And I really had felt like I lost everything because the night before, the love that I thought was the love of my life, I really thought this for in my belief story and in my heart and in my hopes and in my fantasies and in my delusions, like my utter delusions. I felt like all of love, everything was lost, like money, security. I was literally rock bottom, right? Like they say. And you know what? Sometimes rock bottom is the best foundation that you have to rebuild everything. And that was the moment that I realized that no one's here to save me. Like, no one is coming to save me. I had to save myself. And that man was no Prince Charming to me. Like, not running in and fixing everything. Like, in some ways, yes, and in some ways making everything worse. But it was me and my lack of power in my own self, my disconnection from my life force energy, that allowed me to be in that kind of situation. There's a quote that I heard Brené Brown say, and it was so powerful to me. It was something that went along the lines of benign creativity is not harmless. It's destructive and it's dangerous. It transmutes itself as rage. It transmutes itself as terror. And I had to save myself. Being that disconnected to your creativity has negative consequences, especially as a woman. And then we look at love and we think, oh my God, that person was so awful. Like, they treated her wrong. But the truth is that I had treated myself wrong for far longer, and so I attracted that and I allowed that to happen in my life. I'm not trying to unwrite any kind of story of how somebody else maybe hurt me too. Like, I recognize that two dance with that tango, and if this resonates with you and you feel like that's your current situation, darling, I gotta tell you, there's better ways. I've been abstinent for several years, and I really enjoy the fact that I have my own life force energy and no man gets to touch me. Not except for the husband that I will have one day. And he will be one that is so heavily attracted to me and the power I have for my own sexual sacred energy in my modesty, that I will get to choose what that looks like in my life, not some kind of thing that I'm just crawling for. But when you're in that energy, that leads you to be busted down on the ground. Okay? It wasn't cute. There are places I'm not allowed to go back to in Arizona. I'm gonna leave it at that. And the places that I actually ended up sleeping in were not so good. But I will say that I was very strategic, and I have so many lessons that I've learned from that chapter of my life. I learned how to when you're on the streets trying to hustle, like, okay, I wasn't hustling myself, but like you learn one thing for sure. You learn that God got you. Like, there's someone with some exact thing that you need in that moment. You're always going to be taken care of. And it taught me the grit of like really just being out in the world and being like, yo, you got this, you want this, okay, yep, no, this, no, I need that. Like, that gives you a certain level of stamina that otherwise you might not have. Because trust me, honey, I was a trust fund baby. My parents trusted me to fund myself. And guess what? I did that, okay? And that is something that is worth being proud of. It trains you into a whole paradigm shift. It trains you into a mind shift. And it's the power of what you do with anything. Because talent without discipline, that's a wasted gift. And money without intention, it's a fleeting moment. Think about an artist. I know one. I know so many. I know few. I know few who have the raw talent and the discipline to choose how they define it. But I know so many creators. And you just think about the artist, okay? You can have raw talent, but if you don't refine it, if you don't have the discipline in it, if you don't have skill and discipline and talent that comes from a raw place, combining them together to learn how to showcase it, it fades. It fades into the background. Wealth building is an art too. It's one that starts with the tiny and deliberate strokes. And the inner work that happens around money is so juicy. It's so exquisite. It's so yum and delicious. And we can start by asking ourselves, how do we speak about money? How do you? Do you say, oh, I'm bad with it? Or no, I never have enough? Do you say that? Do you say, I don't know how to save? Do you say, it always is leaving me. I never feel like I can control it. I don't know what's happening with it. Imagine saying that about your own body, or about your mind, or about your love life. The words that you speak, beloved, are the contracts which you sign. Our words, as we say it, are spells. You're literally spelling when you write words. You're writing with letters and you spell, and you're casting a spell on your life, whether you realize it or not. The words that we speak are the contracts which we sign. I love looking at love and money together, because not only do masculinity and femininity relate to money, and I mean, I look at some of my friends and the things that they say about this. Like Alexis always talks about how the masculine energy in the world, or Mina Irfan talking about the masculinity and money of the same frequency. It's the same vibrational frequency if you look at quantum physics, if you look at metaphysics. And then I love the way that my friend Anastasia in the First Light, her inner work with the First Light channel, and how she talks about how Lady Money is a female, because she is so attracting the masculine energy of the container in her fluidity. Dating and money have so many parallels. Like, would you expect the love of your life to show up if you constantly said, oh, I'll never find love? Like, why do you treat money that way then? Truly, think about that. The Brené Brown quote is, unused creativity is not benign. It gets metastasized. It's dangerous. I'm going to say that again. Unused creativity is not benign. It gets metastasized. It's dangerous. If you have ideas, projects, passions, and you're not acting on them at all, that energy doesn't just disappear into thin air. It festers. It turns into self-doubt. It turns into regret and resentment. Money is exactly the same. If you neglect your financial creativity, it manifests as stress and scarcity and fear. It's very lower level, below the root chakra shit, like beneath the perineum. That is the lowest of the low. And it's not about how much you have. It is about what you do with it. The glow up plan. This is what I like to call the solution for the small moves to get you those big results. I'm talking about that compound interest upon compound interest as the law's greatest reward, babe. You know exactly what I'm talking about. So track your money. If your bank account were your DMs, would you be embarrassed to even open them? It doesn't hurt me if you're lying, babe. But if you're lying to yourself, we might need to talk. In fact, no, we don't. Talk to me when you're ready to start getting some truth. Because first, you got to track the money. Period. Like, the self-love budget, okay? I used to think that budgeting was restrictive, and I still do. I still think a lot of the times it can be like a bad diet, right? But when you reframe your clarity on projecting and allocating and placing things as self-care, that clarity means that every dollar that you spend becomes intentional. It's like picking out your skincare products, right? Like your future self will thank you. And money is a responsibility. Money loves clarity, hun. It doesn't want to feel lost. If you don't know where you're going, it won't stay. It's like texting someone what you doing every night, but never making actual real plans. Like mixed signals won't build a future. Mixed signals won't build a legacy. Imagine planting a seed. You don't just dig it up every single day to see if it's growing. You trust the process, babe. Money works the same exact way. So start small and be patient. Let the compounding do its damn thing. And then some of you say, oh, Karina, yes, it's so easy, but I have money generational trauma. My mom was bad with it, and my grandma, and the Great Depression, and all of the things, and even slavery, and all of the things. And trust me, I'm not trying to negate the real traumas that come with a very insidious past of our world, for our whole world. What I am saying is that it's our responsibility to heal those things. And with the energy of wealth being one that's in alignment with the energy of alignment, they are mutually exclusive things. One is bound to the other. So healing your generational trauma is required to actually navigate the world of wealth and to not necessarily play by the game or the rules, but definitely to understand them. Certainly to be able to use it savvy, like the rest of the world has caught on to. Well, not even the rest of the world, I misspeak, because it is a very select few who understand. But the beautiful thing is Wall Street is being taken to Main Street now. Like, this is a YouTube channel that you can sit your ass down and listen to, and if you apply a couple things, will actually help you in longevity. That's a very different world than being born into actual trust fund babies from generations and generations and generations and generations and generations and generations back. And if the money itself is a stress point for you and for your family, there's some energy that you might feel guilty about having it. But healing, it means that understanding wealth isn't always about having more. It's about creating and structuring security, opportunity, and freedom like a home, building it off of a solid foundation. And if you're interested in that, you should watch our first video on this channel. The simple 3 steps to building your wealth home. But here's the mic drop moment, okay? Beloved, your future is calling you. And I promise you, I understand. I used to not have 2 pennies to rub together. And now I solve $2 million tax problems, babe. That's right. I used to not have 2 pennies to rub together, but now I'm the dime. Yeah. I used to not have 2 dimes to rub together, but now I'm the dime who solves the $2 million tax problems, babe. And you heard it right the first time. So it's about the it's already happening mindset, because actually that is my lived reality today. Like, I can say that, and I've earned that, and it's true. The energy of stepping into that was true for me before the actual statement that I just said ever was. That version of me that didn't have those 2 dimes to rub together, like, she would be simply in awe of the me that I am today. And I know that the future me is smiling, knowing that this me, she's only getting started. If you want to know the real, if you want to know the ART, that aligned resonant truth, here's the metaphysical, babe. Your money is your reality. Your money reality is simply a reflection of your inner world. They say it and it pisses you off if you're pissed off, but if you're not, baby, you got the whoop, 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 there it is. I said a whoop, 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 there it is. So sit with that for a second. It's because you can shift your mindset. And watch what follows. Being in control of your money is one of the sexiest things that you can do. Period. So stick with me, and by the end of this video, you'll have a plan to grow what you've got and get that legacy started today. No excuses. Building wealth with what you have, no trust fund needed. I was a trust fund baby. My parents trusted me to fund myself. And I did. And you can too. It's too many details to get into for the shortness of this video, but if you are interested, please get on my calendar and book a one-on-one legacy building wealth call with me, Karina Nebula, Karina Dorothy, a legacy builder.